Can you able to hear my voice? Can you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So I already started my record. So we'll see. So here, sir, forward some questions. First, we will discuss some of the questions from here. Okay. So here it is. Already we know a few things. Few things we will discuss. Laptop configuration. We know already how to check the laptop or a desktop configuration. Okay. Compulsory check your system configuration. If you have Windows, the same steps only. If you have a MacBook, so it is different. Okay. So if you do not have laptop or a desktop right now with your in your home, so find out someone's laptop also, or take my configuration. Okay. So if you have got this question, what is your laptop or a computer or a desktop or a system configuration means? Always it is CPU, RAM, storage, operating system. If you have a graphic card, so tell the graphic card information also. Okay. So how to check this configuration from your PC? There is a different ways also there. That is also we discussed. Just few points I want to give some quick review. Okay. So one is go to about your PC. Okay. So there you can see the processor and the RAM and operating system. Also you can able to see Windows 10 Pro Edition. Windows 10 Pro Edition. So it is. So I put my processor and the RAM 16 GB, processor i5 10210U model processor it is, 64-bit operating system so it is, 64-bit OS, 64-bit processor, total architecture is 64 on. Okay, and it is showing Windows 10 Pro for my laptop. Okay, in your laptop it may shows Windows 10 Home or a Windows 11 Home. So find out what it is and put it in one side. Okay. So another one is your storage. Storage can be in the hard disk or SSD, right? So for my laptop, it is 500 GB SSD. Of course, here we cannot see the hard disk information. So you can use, you can check separately what is about your hard disk information, or you can go to MS Info 32. There also you can get what is your operating system, processor, your system architecture, and your physical RAM memory means your RAM capacity, storage, disk, 500 GB hard disk. Okay. So another way also you can get it. Go to the task manager, go to the performance, see the CPU information, memory information, disk information, see SSD, and it is 477 means it's a 500 GB. Understand. Okay. So like this, also you can find your system configuration. Once you find it, put it like this. When you got a question like this, what is your laptop configuration? Tell about your processor, RAM, your storage, and your operating system. Okay. Why now you guys have started a silence? The next one is boot processing. Boot processing. What is meant by boot processing? Loading of operating system. Okay. So when you power on your system, system load operating system, right? So how it will load operating system? What are the steps involved to load OS in your system? Not installation. Loading of OS is different. Installation of OS is different. Okay. So loading of operating system into system, we call it as a boot process. So one of the definition, the step-by-step process of loading operating system. Okay, step by step process of boot your system or a turn on your system kind of stuff. Okay, the first thing is you power on your system. First thing is always power on your system. Power on or turn on your system boot processing or booting, all these things same. Okay, so power on the system, computer, host, PC, laptops, all are same only, guys. Okay, then what will happen in your system after you power on your system? Post power on self test. It means when system is power on, system test itself to make sure all the primary components working or not. Okay, so your processor, RAM, on motherboard components like your ROM chip, other notch with south bridge, power distribution in the motherboard, everything is good. Then post is successful. It go for the second step. What is the second step? Search for the bootable device based on your boot priorities. The BIOS has a boot priorities. Check the BIOS settings. There I mentioned about boot priorities. Okay. So based on the boot priorities, so your system will search for the bootable disk. It can be a hard disk or it can be a CD-ROM, it can be a pen drive like that in the order, priority order. Once it is find the bootable device and it will try to load bootloader from it. The bootloader will tell where is operating system and how to load operating system. The bootloader will load and bootloader will tell how to load operating system and where is your operating system and how to load operating system. So finally, OS is loaded. You got a login screen. So once you log into the system, the startup applications, mention the startups applications enabled in the startups list and the services who are automatic or manually triggered services will start. Applications and services will start so that user can start using system. So this is called a boot processing. Anything related to the boot, booting, boot processing, all these things are same only. Okay. Maybe somewhere here it shows what is booting kind of stuff. Okay, guys, understand boot processing? So I told two issues. One is blank screen. Why you are getting a blank screen at a boot time when you power on your system showing it is LED indication this is a power on, but on the screen nothing is there. It is called a blank screen. So why you are getting a blank screen? It is post failure. Mostly in the primary devices like a CPU or RAM or motherboard related issues are occur. So then it is post will be failure. VGA related also causes this post failure. Okay. So post is failure. It means either RAM is not working properly or not sitting properly or CPU is not working properly or on motherboard power distribution problems. So these are comes under this black screen cause. Post failure. So then you are not getting anything on the screen. Most probably RAM loose connectivities or RAM dust. So remove the cabinet. So remove the cover and go to the RAM, disconnect the RAM and insert it properly or clean the RAM with the eraser, clean the RAM slots. Okay, and try once again. to make sure that it is working fine. Not working, check with a cross-verify RAM with other different working RAM. Okay. Bootable device not found. So possibility is either your hard disk is failed or maybe OS in the hard disk is corrupted. So check, go to the BIOS settings, check your operating system is, your hard disk is available in BIOS settings or not. Okay. So make sure your hard disk is working, then it is OS related issues. Hard disk is not working, replace the hard disk, and if you have a system image recovery, then restore it. Otherwise, start installing OS, then applications and remaining settings. Okay. Hard disk is working, OS is corrupted. So you can try repair using go to the advanced options and then go to troubleshooting, advanced options, startup repair. So try like that. So then you may get it. Okay. If your system is slow, what to do or how to improve system performance. Guys, the startup applications, disable the startup applications in the task manager. Okay, which is not required. Uninstall the applications if no longer required. Stop the services if it is currently not required to run. Okay, so clean up your C drive. So then it will improve your system performance. If C drive is showing red color like this, so remove the data from the C drive. Okay, disk cleanup and increase your RAM capacity. So then it will increase your speed like that. So already we discussed. Please go through those points once again. Difference between hard disk and SSD. Okay. Hard disk data stores in the platter, SSD data stores in the chips. SSD lighter the weight, easy to carry, less power consumption. High speed data transmission, it is best for your operating system application loading, but not for regular data storage. Of course, you can store regular data also, but cost regular data is a very higher, so then the cost is of SSD is higher. Even SSD is also having two interfaces like a SATA interface, NVMe.m.2. This M.2 interface is directly inserted on your motherboard, either laptop or desktop motherboards. Okay. It is faster than SATA interface SSD. Difference between RAM and ROM. What is RAM and ROM difference? Okay. What is the RAM and ROM differences? RAM is in a computer or a laptop or a desktop, guys. RAM we can able to remove and reinsert. We can add additional RAMs if the number of slots are available. But ROM is fixed on your motherboard. ROM contains a program called BIOS, which is nothing but our firmware. Okay. So RAM store data temporarily, ROM store data permanently. RAM is an example for volatile memory. ROM is an example for non-volatile memory because even the power is off, data remains in the ROM. Okay. Even power is on or off, but once device is shut down, then automatically data in the RAM will be removed. Okay. But RAM can be changeable. RAM has a specific sizes like 2 GB, 3 GB, 4 GB. But ROM do not have any specific type of size. It may have a memory capacity size, but we don't store anything. It is already instructions built by the manufacturer. Okay. What is a BIOS? BIOS is a firmware. BIOS is a firmware or firmware which helps to boot your system. When you power on your system, so the post is an acronym that is system check for when you power on your system, power is distributed to your components, including your motherboard and other systems, other devices. Power is distributed. and system test itself to make sure all the primary components working on that. Then your BIOS chip is recognize what are the devices in your system, like what is the CPU is inserted, what RAM is inserted, what hard disk is inserted. And also in the BIOS, it runs date and time clock. Okay. You can change certain hardware related settings. You can change the boot priorities in the BIOS also. Okay. But the changed one means what are the default you are getting, that is permanent. But when you are changing the date and time, passwords, settings, boot priorities, those information store temporarily. But when you shut down your PC, the temporary data will be gone. To give a power supply to your BIOS chip, we use CMOS battery. We calling them as a CMOS battery. The originally CMOS battery is lithium ion battery, 3 volts lithium ion battery. CMOS battery or lithium battery never store any data, guys. It give power supply to your BIOS chip. To keep these settings and keep date and time running, okay, this CMOS battery give power supply directly. Even you shut down your PC, your BIOS chip still runs. Okay, inside your BIOS chip memory and date and time running. So this BIOS battery will help. Okay, so that is another point. So RAM and ROM differences, storages, hard disk and SSD difference. What is meant by CMOS battery, BIOS? Guys, are you getting?
Sir,
Someone asked me a question that is in a morning batch, that is laptop RAM. Okay, so it's a name, laptop RAM is there, but what is that? It is, guys, if you go to the package, okay, package wise, desktop RAM model is DIMM. Okay, dual inline memory module package. For laptops, the package name is SODIMM. Okay, small outline dual inline memory module. It is a smaller size than a desktop RAMs. Desktop RAMs are just like a 15-inch, not 15-inch. Yeah, 15 centimeter scale is in a small scale. It's look like that one. Desktop RAMs are like that one. So laptop RAMs are not like that. So it's a little less lengthy. Okay, larger but little less lengthy package time. Okay. So if you want to change the RAM, you want to change the RAM. Okay. How to change the RAM? Open laptop case, check RAM slots. And previous RAM details. Okay. Check CPU support and motherboard support. For a type of RAM, size of RAM. Okay. So type of RAM, which RAM you want to use, like a DDR3 or DDR4 support or DDR5 support, maximum size of RAM, max size of RAM support. Okay. So your CPU will give that kind of details. Okay. So for the changing the RAM slots. Okay. This is one point. I think if you guys are going through this one already, please tell me. There is a browser types. Different browsers we are using, guys. Okay, Google Chrome browser. Like a browser means web browsers. Web browsers. Okay, so Google Chrome browser is there. Microsoft Edge browser is there. Firefox browser is there. Brave browser is there. Opera browser is there. Like a different types of browsers are there. These are all nothing but a applications. Applications runs on operating system. Without OS, you can't run application. If you cannot able to run an application, you cannot use the browser, right? Okay. So you have a Google Chrome browser, but it has to be installed in an operating system only. Okay. So OS is required to run any application. Web browser is an application. OS is OS only. What is the purpose of web browser? To access the website. What is the purpose of this web browser? So I can able to access a website. What is the purpose of voice? Voice will run different applications on it. It provide a environment to run applications. User interface, interact with your hardware and the user. Interact with the hardware and user. What is an operating system? It is act as an interface between hardware and end user. It runs your applications. It provide user interface. It interacts to the hardware and manages hardware, devices, process management, network management, memory management. All these things will done by our operating system. So that's the main point. Different web browsers and different between operating system and web browser. Without OS, you cannot run applications. That's what I said. Okay. Just a web browser, you cannot do anything. So you need some operating system to run your web browser. Okay. Web browser is an application. Operating system is operating system only. Okay. Guys, got the point? What happened for you? So morning batches, people are completely silent for yeah, hearing. Okay. If you have any doubts also, I think you have this document. Okay. So please check the document and think sir or me, someone share the document. Okay. Otherwise, I will share it now. Okay. So compare with all your previous things. Please check it. Any doubts we can able to discuss. When we have a time, then only we can able to discuss. Guys, what is an operating system? Just now we discussed. It acts as an interface between hardware and end user, right? It runs applications. It provide an environment to run your applications, provide a user interface. So then user can able to interact with the computer. Different OSs are there. We have Windows OS. Generally, we are using Windows OS. Okay. In Windows also, we have a Windows desktop operating system like Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows Server operating system like a Windows 2019, 2016, 2022. Desktop. Another one is a Linux operating system. Mac operating system, Apple books use, okay, Mac operating system, Unix operating system, mainframe operating systems, like a different operating systems are there. There is a operating system types. Types of operating system. SOS, NOS, network operating system, simple operating system. SOS, simple operating system is like a desktop operating system. Network operating system. Network operating system is a server OS. Okay. So what is the difference between desktop OS and server OS? That is also one question. What is the difference between desktop OS and a server operating system? Desktop operating system to run different applications, web browsing, programming, games, and desktop OS is also a side, client side. Okay. Desktop OS don't give any services to the clients. Okay. It is a client itself. Okay. That is a desktop operating system. Everything is there only, guys. Only thing is you guys are never seen what it is. Okay. So what is the purpose of desktop operating system? To run applications, playing games, data processing, multimedia, web browsing, programming, playing audio, video. It is a client PC or end user device. And what is a server OS? Support server application. It has a built-in server feature to provide a services like a DHCP and DNS, web server, mail servers, authentication servers, like that. So that is the difference between desktop OS and server OS. Okay. Next, single user, single task. Only one user can able to access at a time, and only one task we can able to run. That is a single user, single task. Example is Microsoft Task. Single user multitask. Single user multitask. Only one user can log in at a time to a machine, and but multiple tasks we can able to run. That is Windows operating system, both Windows desktop OSs, Windows server OSs also. Multi-user multitask. Multi-user multitask means multiple users can log into one single PC at a time, either directly or remotely, and multiple tasks we can able to do it. Okay. So example is Linux and Unix operating system. Guys, we discussed about the Windows and Linux differences. So Linux is multi-user, multitask. Windows is single user, single task. Linux, no proprietary. Any person can able to develop and deploy an operating system. Okay. Anyone can take Linux kernel and develop on their own. There is no proprietary. Microsoft, the operating system is not open source. Operating system is developed and distributed by Microsoft only. And for Microsoft, we need a license you have to paid license is required to use the Microsoft Windows operating system. Whereas a Linux is open source. Anybody can take Linux kernel and develop and distribute operating system. Okay. Of course, Windows-based viruses like a .exe type of files won't run in the Linux, which it actually runs in Windows. Okay, so these are the major points. And of course, Linux is basically CLI, so less use of graphical user interface. So a lot of hardware resources. It not required more hardware resources to run. Okay, better than Windows. Okay, Windows utilize more hardware resources. Linux use less hardware resources to run. Okay, these are the difference between Windows and Linux. And of course, I told about a web browser kind of stuff. Guys, understand the different operating system types of OSs and difference between desktop OS, server OS, and Windows and Linux operating system. Anything? Okay. Guys, here is another question. It is Windows operating system. Okay, so people ask like, what is your Windows operating system version? Version and edition, two things. Version means it's a Windows 10 or Windows 11. The recent one is Windows 11. Little previous, still continuously using is Windows 10. Okay. And previously this thing, Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 7, Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows 2000 Professional, okay, Windows 98 SE, Windows Millennium, Windows 98, Windows 98 7 plus, Windows 97, Windows 95, Windows 3.5, 4.5, Windows NT, Workstation, like a different versions of Microsoft Windows desktops are there. Okay. So current versions are 10 and 11. 10 and 11. 10 is also used by lot of people, including my laptop is Windows 10 on. Okay. What are the editions? Pro edition, home edition, enterprise edition. I showed my laptop, it is showing Windows 10 Pro. You check in your system, it may shows Windows 10 Home or Windows 11 Home because you are individual user. Okay. So like that. Next. Guys, understand the difference Windows version and edition. Editions are Home, Pro, Enterprise. Versions are current versions are 10 and 11. For your laptop, which version and which edition, you have to check it and you have to tell about it. Okay, tell them Windows 10 Home or Windows 11 Home. That's it. Okay. Next one is Windows servers. The servers means mainly first is a Windows servers. Desktop is a Windows server. Okay. In Windows Server from Windows NT 2000, 2003, Windows 2008 R2, 2012, 2008, 2008 R2, 2012, 2012 R2, 2016, 2019, 2022. These are the different server versions. Of course, Windows Server editions also there. Primarily, there is a standard edition and data center edition. And of course, we have two other editions also there. Okay. On Windows Server, standard and data center editions. Windows Server, again, so that is Windows Server and their versions. Even Linux and Unix also having some different types of distributions. Distributions means different companies come and started building their own. Okay, with the operating system and distributed. CentOS build, CentOS operating system. CentOS 7, CentOS 8, 8.3i and Windows CentOS 9 is also available. Red Hat Enterprise Linux from the Red Hat organization. Ubuntu from Ubuntu, right? Ubuntu server is there. Okay, like that. Divine, Fedora, these are all different Linux distributions for server. Unix is also having a few things. I have written only two. Solaris 11, HP UX is both are Unix based. Okay, different server OSs, different desktop Windows desktop OSs, different server OS in both Windows and Linux also. Yeah, noted. Okay, just for a quick review purpose only, guys. And also check how to add a local printer. Please check it once if for a better. These are all we discussed already. I'm just giving a quick point, guys. What is a server and client? Server provide a service, client access the service. Server provide a service, client access the service. Okay, exactly say client request for the service to the server. Example, I open a website, so then I ask the web server, I want a web page. I want a web page. What server will do? Server see what is your request. HTTP request means you want a web page, and what page it is, what page it is, by default page or some specific page. So based on that, it will deliver the content to your PC. Okay. For example, I open this Python. So it shows that information. So send request, I want a Python page. So now I am getting the response. So client request for a service to the server, server responds to the client. So client send HTTP request to the web server for getting web page. Web server send HTTP response to the client with the web page. How they will understand what is the client request or what is the server is giving to us? Okay, it is by the protocol. You send HTTP request, server understand you want a web page. You send ICMP request, then it will give ICMP reply. Just you try to ping it. Okay, use DHCP request for getting an IP address. For example, the client send a SMTP request. So the client want to send mail. So mail server understand your request and give response based on it. Okay. So this is this up to you. How a server become a specific server? So based on what service it is providing. We call that server as a we call that server as a specific server. Like this, mail server, web server, file server, database server, VPN server, ping server, authentication server. Understand? How a server can able to provide a service by install and configuring built-in features or by installing some server applications and configuration. Okay. So if you take Windows Server has some, I've written few, but there is a lot of roles are there. Okay. So as the roles and feature, by installing that role and configure it as a specific server. For example, you install IIS role and configure it and it become a web server. You install a ADDS role and configure it as a domain controller. So it is become authentication server or a domain controller. Okay. Or you can install a specific application to make that server as a specific server. Like you install MS Exchange application in Windows Server, it is mail server. If you install Zimbra, Squirrel Mail, Dovcat, Postfix into a Linux server, so it is become mail server. If you install a database application in the server like a MS SQL server, Oracle DB or MySQL, it is a database server. If you install a Tomcat or Nginx, it becomes web server or application server. Okay. So if you install Hyper-V, Microsoft Hyper-V, it is virtualization server. Okay. If you install on the direct hardware, is hypervisors like a ESXi, vSphere, Citrix, Proximox. Okay. So this by installing that automatically a web server. Yeah, here I written about a domain and workgroup and DHCP also. Okay. So what is a work group? Decentralized administration. No centralized control. Every system manage individually. Every system can manage individually. Number of devices increases. It's difficult to manage. And every system has their own local administrator. System means computer. Okay. To manage, to install, uninstall, or manage settings in the system. Active Directory domain or a domain is a centralized administration. Centralized controller is there. That is called a domain controller. Guys, domain controller means it is a server which is installed with the Active Directory service. Okay. Domain controller is a server which installed and configured with Active Directory ADS role. Okay. So ART is an Active Directory. It is a service. Service is Active Directory or Active Directory domain service. Okay. ADR, ADS. Because older and new names are there. Okay. That is domain controller. Then what is the domain? The logical administrative boundary of users and computers. The domain is a logical boundary. It means inside that boundary, we have a domain controller, domain computers, domain users, domain resources are there in that boundary only. Okay. Even those who are not in that boundary, even they are in the network, but may not be in the boundary. Okay. So they won't get any domain related controlization. We can enforce different type of settings to the large number of users and computers in the domain using group policies. Using group policies. In the domain controller, so there is a database called Active Directory database contains information of users, groups, computers, and resources. And also Active Directory, another service. One service is Active Directory database service. Another service is authentication service. What is this authentication service? When user log into the domain computer, domain controller authenticate that user. Okay. What is authorization? So authorization, once a user is authenticated, it authorizes the user whether the user is can able to access the particular resources like a to computer or maybe a printer or maybe a document or data or a service. Is that user is allowed to access or not is also done by the domain controller, that is called authorization. So it is authorized the user to access resources, data or services. The Active Directory database file name is ntds.dat, new technology directory service directory information tree. Yeah, you have to copy all this matter into a Word document so then we can see this spelling mistakes will be changes. Okay, check with the spelling. Second one is Active Directory. Second service is authentication service. So it uses an authentication protocol to authenticate users like a Kerberos or LDAP protocols. Guys, Active Directory is an enterprise service by the Microsoft in 2000 server Active Directory architecture is introduced. ARCH architecture is introduced. So then ADS become ADDS in 2008. Before 2000, before Active Directory, there is another thing like a Windows NT. They use the SAM database kind of stuff. NTLM authentication kind of stuff. This Active Directory, the architecture contains forest, tree, child domain kind of concept it is. Okay, guys, up to Active Directory. What is an Active Directory? Is a directory service, mainly two services: Active Directory database, and authentication services. What is Active Directory database service? The database contains user, group, resources, service information, computers information. Active Directory authenticates user when they log into the domain computer and authorize the user to access the resources. Okay. What is a domain? AD domain is a logical administrative boundary of users and groups. What is a domain controller? Is a server which is installed and configured with a AD or a ADDS role. And Active Directory, everything, all these things are belongs to Microsoft. Okay, all these things are Microsoft. Guys, understand up to here?
Yes, sir.
So what is a DHCP? Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, port number is 6768. What is DHCP server? DHCP server assign or configure IP address to the client's devices automatically. So I have a laptop. I want to configure an IP address to my laptop. So what I will do it? I go to my adapter settings. Go to adapter settings. Okay, like I can directly go ncpa.cpl. Okay, I go to adapter settings, go to the properties, IPv4, because I'm using IPv4 here, and select obtain IP address, automatically obtain DNS server address automatically. So what happened? So my system send a request to the DHCP server in the network. Then DHCP server will give an IP address to my laptop. So it is, now I got an IP address. DHCP enable yes means I got an IP address from DHCP. Subnet mask, default gateway, DNS. And also from where I'm getting? From this DHCP server. Guys, in our home or offices, we use the Wi-Fi router. Okay, in our home, or offices, generally our Wi-Fi router is act like a DHCP server. Means your DHCP server is nothing but your Wi-Fi. Somewhere I've written about DNS today. So to configure IP address manually or automatically, network adapter settings to configure IP address. Okay, so here it is. You use obtain IP address automatically means you are telling get IP address from DHCP server. If you select use following IP address, means manual configuration. So you have to tell about IP address, subnet mask, and the default gateway and DNS server address. Okay. So these things you have to specify in manual configuration. Automatic configuration, you don't specify anything. Okay. If it is showing, if when you are checking DHCP enable yes means you got IP address from DHCP server. Better to check IP address, DHCP server address. If it is showing no means it's a manually configured IP address. I'm just giving some running type of notes only, guys. So just be ready and prepare. I think. Okay. What is APIPA address? When you check an IP address of device, means computer or a laptop, it shows. If it shows IP address as 169.254 dot something, okay, so it means issue. Okay, what issue it is? System or device unable to get IP address from DHCP server. So it is server related issues. Okay, what is APIPA? Automatic private IP address. What is an APIPA? Automatic private IP address. Okay, what is this automatic IP address? If system is unable to get IP address from DHCP server, the system assign an IP address itself from APIPA range. So what is that point? So you fail to get IP address from, okay, failed to get IP address from DHCP server. So you have to check the DHCP server connectivity, client connectivity, DHCP server connectivities, and make sure that is DHCP is not blocking your address like that. Okay. So that's the point. What I'm trying to say. APIPA, automatic private IP. So to whom I told this regards kind of stuff, I forget. Then once again, what is a DNS server? Okay. So what is DNS? Domain name system. What is DNS? Domain name system. What is the port number for a DNS? 53. Okay. DNS server contains records of devices or a host, servers, names to IP address, records of a devices, hosts or servers, names, and their IP address. Simply say DNS server maps name to IP address. Okay. Maps name to IP address. DNS server helps user to find IP address of remote hosts or servers with name. Example, okay. Example, open website https://www.java So you can use anything. Microsoft.com or Google.com like this. Open website like this. System send a request to DNS server to find IP address of www.microsoft.com. Okay. The DNS server returns IP address of www.microsoft.com. Now, system communicate to www.microsoft.com server with IP address. Okay, it's a very big one, but understand it is very simple. Okay, simple. What is the DNS server? Contains records of a server's names and their IP addresses. It maps name to IP address. Maps name to IP address in a domain wise. Actually, domain wise. Okay, that is more than enough for a DNS. Guys, okay with the DNS?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, here it is. There are some networking essentials. Just I revise for them, but uh, yeah, here also some few questions are important in here also. That's why I'm just want to tell. Yeah, this We'll see networking related, then we'll take a break, or anything is network related. Here it is, RAM and hard disk is also given. So this is also important. So I will hardware, RAM and hard disk means it is hardware related. Okay, hard disk and SSD, that is also important. Hard disk and SSD. RAM and hard disk. RAM is volatile. What is volatile? When system turn off, data in RAM is lost. Hard disk or SSD, okay, or CD-RAM is non-volatile. Means even system is turn off, data remains in hard disk. Okay, so you have to write in a like this. You have to write. So okay, you have to write like this. I will write like, because we cannot put a two ways. So I will write first RAM and hard disk kind of stuff. Okay. RAM is temporary memory. RAM is temporary memory. Okay. It is like a data flow. Okay. And very important, we forget very important point is, okay. What is the very important? RAM is primary memory. RAM is a primary, two primary memories, RAM and ROM. So RAM is a primary memory, and also it is called as physical memory, also called as main memory. Okay, so many things are there. Primary memory, it is a main memory. Without a RAM, system cannot boot. Without RAM, system cannot boot. Even for starting also, it won't boot. Starting itself, it won't work. So because it's a one of the primary memory. Okay, main memory or a physical memory kind of stuff. RAM is a volatile data, never store permanently. RAM is near to your hard disk. Hard disk is non-volatile. Hard disk is non-volatile. And the hard disk is, which type of memory it is, guys? Hard disk is secondary memory. Hard disk is secondary memory. Hard disk is non-volatile. Even you turn off your PC system, the data remains in the hard disk. Hard disk is mass storage device. It means huge amount of data we can store. RAM is 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB. But hard disk is like 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte hard disk also available, right? So hard disk is a mass storage of hard disk is is to store operating system, OS, applications, and data. Okay. So anything we can want to add a hard disk? Yeah. Okay. Without hard disk, without if you don't connect a hard disk, system will start. Means it may not load operating system, but no post error. Cause post failure. Okay. Starting only failure. Hard disk is OS won't load. That's it. Okay. I think this is also helps. Anything guys, look at the document. If you do not have, I will share the document. Yeah, already I told what is a blank screen, post error, OS, you know the BIOS settings, what is a boot, solid state drive, difference between browser and um, yeah, simple words. You can tell what is a web browser. Web browser is to access website and means accessing website, accessing the web pages. You can able to access the web page, web related communication. You can able to do it. Okay. Yeah. What is an Outlook? Mail client application. So yeah, browser and OS. Okay. Yet so 4 o'clock. Then what I will do it? Take a small break, guys. Meanwhile, if you find anything, I will share it if you miss it. Okay. So what is the Windows versions, OS servers, different types of servers, Active Directory, DHCP, DNS. Yeah, networking, I will explain once again. I will implement this document only. I will save it separately. Okay. I will save in this one only. So what will happen? I will share the document again to them. Okay. So I will share it again, the modified one again. So here it is. What are the networking essentials? Once again, we'll repeat what are the physical network, NIC cards, what is MAC address, IP address, importance of IP address, IP address classes, subnet mask, default gateways, default subnet mask. Okay. Configuring IP address, check the IP address, you know already we discussed default gateways, DHCP address. OSI model, that is also important. Already we know, but once again for your inquiry purpose, what is OSI? TCP/IP. Once again, just we'll go simple points. Okay. I think I shared this document to you. This document contains maximum of questions and answers. Like this is entire material, just like I shared this material. So all the material is there. Okay. Of course, I shared already what is Office 365 and all. Okay. I will share that one also. I will share both the documents. Please go through it. Okay, take a break, guys. Come back. It's 4:07. Think like 4:10, 4:20, 4:25. Try 4:25 max. Okay. Then we'll take. I will take another.